great. We also have the capability of people calling in. If you want to call in, it's 405-657-4535. On our next live, we're going to actually maybe put the phone number in the description so people can actually call in. All right, today, ladies and gentlemen, we've been trying for many years to figure out how to put a podcast together. But before we do all of that, I'm going to allow us to introduce ourselves. And if you can kind of give people who you are and go.
I am Vilma Bellini. I'm 43 years old. I have a clothing line and we have a business together which includes photography, video, creating marketing, attire, and content for other people.
And you do a lot of branding as well. And kind of walk me through really fast when we first met almost 6.5 years ago. What is your idea of branding back then and what is it now?
So my idea of branding was I had no idea. I remember coming to you like a week after a meeting and asking you, what does branding mean? I had no clue what that word even meant. And you said, we need to brand you. You need to become your own brand. I said, what is that? I had absolutely no idea. And so you walked me through, in these past 6.5 years, I took your advice. You walked me through the steps. You showed me the ropes of this business and this industry. And I think the reason that I am as successful as I am is because I listened.
I want to call The Mirror the movie that you play in your head. And from that movie that you play in your head, how difficult is it to transition from what's going on in your head to the outside world? So you came into my world with a vision. Explain to me what that vision was when we first met.
See, the difference is I was under the influence. As long as
let's take the influence out of it whatsoever. I don't want to talk about that. I just want to talk about what you thought. It doesn't matter
But that includes it. I was not thinking rationally or clearly. My mind was foggy.
But here, I don't want to pinpoint it there. What I want to really talk about is, if you say I was under the influence, then other people are going to say, well, that doesn't pertain to me, so I'm not going to listen. Because everyone has a problem. You were under the influence. Another person might be in an abusive relationship. The other person might be in financial situation.
So what is the question again?
So when you came into my world, and I talked to you about branding, and what did you think about branding back then, or your mindset back then versus now?
I understand it. I understand how important it is. I understand that you cannot become a brand or a business without branding yourself. And people who separate these two are, in my opinion, delusional. Sometimes I remember hearing you on Clubhouse not that long ago, a couple months ago, you arguing or having a discussion with other photographers how you can do one or the other. And no, you can't. You have to brand yourself. If you want to get paid, you have to brand yourself. So nowadays, this is not the 90s. The business functions very differently now.
Let me get this. Let me ask this another way. I guess for me, what branding means to me is that putting out a consistent message that other people can take a look at.
Can I give you an example?
Sure.
When you post your photography without putting a logo, you have people coming to you and saying, Chuck, I know this is your photography. I recognize it. This is branding.
And so the movie that I had in my head before that was do the best image possible. Create this beautiful image. And it doesn't matter if it's from a flower, from landscape, to pretty girls, to old women, to people with cancer and disabilities and all that. I was trying to just create beautiful images. And, that was in my mind. Now, looking from the outside, which I'm going to call the mirror, looking from the outside of the world, I had somebody on the outside basically say, Chuck, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Who are you presenting to? What are you a subject matter expert in? Find something that you love and keep doing that. And then when people want to view that or they like that, they're going to come to you because you're consistently putting that same message. Mm-hmm. So my vision of what it took to get notice or branding was do everything, put everything out there, get a new camera, do new tricks, do wild,
Just without getting off topic, the mirror.
Yes. So my whole idea was going out there, doing all these things. That was what my mind was playing in front of my face, all that stuff. Somebody from the outside came in and said, you know what, Chuck, let me erase that a little bit. Let me show you something else. When I look at you, this is what I see. A person who is desperate, doing a lot of different things, and don't know what. So that mirror was placed in front of me, and I took a look at that, and I basically said, oh, that makes sense. So I started doing more edgy, catchy stuff in exotic locations. That's when my branding came aware of me, and I was able to look in the mirror, which is a reflection back at me, but the only way to see that is to be able to listen to other people bring that to your attention. And here's what I see. You came in as a model. Your vision in your head back then, go out there, create a beautiful portfolio, and that's what your mind was telling you. Go shoot with this photographer, that photographer, do this, try that. Then when you came to me, I said, Vilma, I want to brand you. I want to stop. I want to do steampunk. And you were able to see from someone else's perspective what that meant, and that's when you got it, and that's when you went down that path.
Before we started the podcast, we were talking, and you said, even you have these movies, you fantasize a lot. Where were you going with that?
I have a lot of movies that I fantasize of, of what I need to say.
No, you were talking about me. You said, Vilma, you even do that a lot.
Oh boy.
When we were talking about what we're going to start discussing, and we said a lot of people have this fictitious movie playing in their head. And what they present to the world and what's really happening is completely two different things. And they think that the rest of the world see the same movie, but it's not the case.
Being able to take a look at yourself is very difficult because a lot of times we don't want to hear the negative things about us, and a lot of times even if someone just says an honest vision that they have, sometimes other people become very offensive. So let me, without getting negative, you have your vision of what captures attention from a female's perspective. I have a vision of what I would like to attract from a male's perspective.
But I think our visions are kind of cross-firing because your vision is more like what women should see. And my vision, I have a male narrative. My vision is more, I like to push sexy. And you advise me a lot against it, to men.
Yes.
Because... And that's being honest. That's where most of my attention comes from. When I post sexy, the only attention I get is men or women who are also trying to push that same narrative. Women who have businesses and who are professional and work in a professional environment, they do not come and cheer me on with that. But...
Say that again. So women in the professional environment don't cheer you on with that, is what you said?
Yeah. So, but I get a lot of thirsty male attention, and a lot of times women think that this is popular. That's what makes you famous, all this attention. You don't realize that what kind of attention is it, As long as we're getting attention, it's like, oh yeah, it's good. It feels good. It's like crack, But when we start dissecting and seeing what kind of attention we get is when we start getting angry and pissed off and start hating men and become lesbians in life.
So why, even though that you know that and you understand that, why don't your actions actually take that into consideration?
And that's why we're having this podcast. So we can figure it out. Because I have no idea.
I like that. And usually I get into big arguments with this because, I'm taking this from a male's perspective, but I'm thinking from a female's vantage point.
You always advise women when you shoot with them, when you brand them, you say you have to appeal to your grandmother and a 6-year-old child. Everybody else will fall in between. And that's more a feminine approach. Or
for me,
that's more like, with grandmother. And
I want to travel the world. What do I
Right.
need to travel the world? I need money to do so. And I want to be able to film and do these podcasts and get versions of women's perspective of what they think from all over the world. Now, the first thing I have to do is I have to make that financially feasible for us to do. In order to do that, women are the ones who will foot the bill for me to do that. So if I understand who my audience is, now I have to cater to her needs. So she doesn't, women don't like that sexy woman and their men gawking over that sexy woman. They don't like that. So if you, my partner, present that thirsty male,
that's a conflict to your client base.
That to our client
Right,
base,
right.
because your clothes, your everything that you have depends on what she's going to spend, on us. So if you have an internal conflict, I always say, what is the desired result after the smoke clears? What do you want? You want to travel the world. You want a big $1 million RV. You want clothes racks in there. You want to go to the best locations in the world. That's what you want to do. But you have to be able to look in the mind's mirror and see out there what that mirror set tells you, and you have to be able to listen to it. You can't only listen to the internal feeling, because you really have to take a look at, the desired outcome. So in your case, I get where you're going, but that emotion that women have to get
So
that
strong.
is very strong.
It's hard to fight.
It creates endorphins. So it takes another level of thinking and understanding to be able to say, okay, this is what I want, but if I do this, I'm going to go against it. If you can't look at the mirror and tell yourself that, you're going to continue to do the things to get the undesired results. And when you get the undesired results, you get angry. When you get angry, it really reflects everything. It's like a downward drug addict, spiral. And what I heard yesterday, a great thing, circling the drain. Do you know what that means? Yeah.
Also, guys, one more time, if anybody is watching, if you want to call us and give us a question that you would like us to answer, the phone number is
405-657-4535. So, with that said, now, let's talk about this. Now, we've come up with a situation to where, you love sexy. Anybody looking at your portfolio knows you love sexy. You love showing
That's a
cleavage.
European thing. We do not demonize sexuality.
Okay. With that aside,
Okay.
we're talking about the reality.
We're in America.
No, we're talking about the reality. How does it make you feel? A woman from Europe and a woman from Timbuktu, they all want that
From
feeling.
where?
Timbuktu. It's an old saying. Don't worry about it. But they all want that feeling. So if you want to have all of that stuff and be able to travel the world and film, what do we have to do? We have to do what?
Make money.
How do we do that?
By getting paid by mature women and not by young
What do
women, because young women don't have money to afford our services.
What do mature women dislike?
Young women who dress too sexy.
I think they dislike, the...
Over sexuality, because that's a threat to their husbands, that's a threat to their businesses, and it's not serious.
I think a lot of women are secure in their relationships. They just don't want that added tension. They don't...
I'm secure in my relationship, but I still don't want you to be in an environment where there are titties in your face. I mean,
You don't? You don't?
No, do I want you in it? Would I be okay with it? Yes. Do I want you in it? No. I am
That's new to me.
No, I'm one of the most jealous people. No, if I was with you, yeah, titties in my face too.
Yeah, watch your language here.
Sorry. No, but really, on a serious note, I mean, would I be okay? Yes, I will not say, no, you cannot go somewhere. Will I be happy with it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So So if you're not happy with it, why would you present that to another woman's environment?
Exactly. That's a good question. That's why we're having this podcast. So we can figure me out.
Yeah. See, and a lot of women, if I tell them, you know what, I don't think it's okay for you to do that. What is the normal female reaction?
You're being chauvinistic. You're being controlling. I'm all about women empowerment. It's none of your business. And I'll go on social media with it.
It used to be a time in my life when something like that would make me nervous and I would be quiet. But in today, in my thought process where I am, I give zero flips of what someone else says, because I'm looking at I'm looking on the outside. If I know who my audience is. My audience is women 35 and above. She's done all the playing, most of them. She's done all the playing. She's the kids are leaving the home. She's in a position where the kids can take care of themselves, and she's out there doing her own thing. Now she wants to take care of herself. So with her wanting to take care of herself, I'm talking to her. And this has been a huge eye-opening experience to me, because when I speak to that mature women, the younger women want what I have or what I can offer. They want that stardom. They want to be in those big gowns and those locations, but they never come to me and ask me. Some do, but most don't. Why?
Because they think that they deserve to be, that you are supposed to be reaching out to them. They're desired by everybody else. In their thought process is, everybody is knocking down my door. Can't you see? Why are you not knocking down my door? You should be begging me to pay for my beautiful face because I'm worthy. I have value. My looks have value. Do looks have value?
It really depends on where you're selling it. If you're trying to sell your looks to
in a strip club, that works.
If you're trying to sell your looks, to a very mature environment of women who are business owners, they have business, they travel, they interact on a very mature level, that it doesn't matter to a great extent. With that.
In modeling, for example, I was going with it.
I'm talking in general, because I don't like the word model.
See, and that's where we clash. We need to figure out what kind of podcast we're doing.
We're talking about...
Because I thought we were talking about everything that we do, and everything we do involves everything.
The mirror. We're talking about the mirror.
Yeah, but modeling has a mirror too.
Well, I don't want to just... I want to talk about all the little tentacles around that mirror. Modeling is just a really small portion of it.
But I still want to talk about it.
You go right ahead. I will never step in the way of a woman who wants to say something. Remember that, guys.
Good answer.
Yes. But, go ahead then. Talk about it.
No, I was just kidding. I have nothing to say.
Okay. The mirror. For example, let me give you a good example of women and how I see women from the age of 20-somethings to the 40-somethings. There's a vision that a woman has of her value. The movie that they have playing in their head is that I am a 10. I am, this beautiful goddess,
and I deserve to be treated a certain way.
And everyone needs to follow my script of what I'm explaining to you. But that movie is in their head. So if they go out there thinking that, I deserve men that are in the top 5% of society, or I deserve the photographers.
But most of the women that we talk to on a daily basis are the ones who do think like that.
And I'm not going to be so pointed at those women. I think I see that wherever I go.
But that's what I would love to happen. I would love for somebody to ask a question or to call and to really tell us, why do you think you should? I have my narrative, you have yours.
So in your narrative, refresh my memory.
Our narrative is similar. If you ask me what number I think I'm about a 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at some women who have absolutely no business saying they're about 5.
Let me
say they're a 10.
Let me save you in this one. You know,
I don't need saving. I want somebody to come and tell me your version.
You should never sing your own praise. You should be an individual. The reactions that you have around you of the other human beings in your life should basically dictate what's actually the reality is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the mirror that I'm talking about. If you're the only one saying that you're the greatest, if you're the only one that says you're a top model, if you're the only one says that, you know, you are the best in, you know, gymnastics, or
but they believe it when they come to us and
that's
say
the mirror.
That's
the mirror that I want to talk about. You know.
But then when we tell them that no, this is not the case.
Is it our job to tell them?
Well, I like to tell them because I don't like BS. I have no filter, and I don't go around the circles. I just if they're BSing me, and they say I mean I tell them how it is, and I get in trouble a lot. But I don't like to sugarcoat stuff.
But what is your objective when all the dust settles?
If a girl is in front of me and she says I'm a 10, and I mean nobody's a 10.
Slow down.
There's not a 10 out there.
Slow down.
J-Lo, Bella Hadid.
Slow down.
They're close. They're like there. Okay, Naomi Campbell. But nobody in our network is there yet.
Please slow down. Let me go back and ask you this again. What is your desired outcome of your life? You want to be in that RV traveling around the world.
Yes, but teaching people is how I get that RV. Not BSing them.
So, there's a woman out there that thinks she's a 10. And, you know, this could be a potential client.
Well, that changes things. Oops.
Yeah, that's what I mean by looking at the real mirror.
Oh.
See, your head is...
I have my own movie playing.
This is exactly what this podcast is about. So you take the movie that's in your head and you make that your reality, and you want everyone else to follow that reality.
Yeah, but reality is nobody's a 10. I know that their reality is they are a 10.
But by saying that...
Okay, do you think they're a 10?
No. It's their movie.
Why not?
It's their movie.
Why not?
It's their movie.
They have the greatest job. They work the hardest. They go to the gym every day.
Their movie.
They pray every day. They
their
go
movie.
to church every Sunday. How are they not a 10?
I'm taking popcorn and clapping
you
at their movie. You
chauvinistic bastard. How are they not a 10?
I'm eating popcorn. That's their business. You know why? Because...
Somebody call!
My desired outcome...
405-657-4535.
My desired outcome is to be in that RV traveling the world.
Yeah, I want to be there with you.
Okay,
I'll zip it.
No. This is good. That is my desired outcome, is to be able to do that. And anything that gets in the way of that, I need to find a way to show the mirror to show that, okay, if we do X, here's the natural reaction to what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So...
I get it now.
And now that, you know, you get it now, but that movie in your head is strong. And this is what this podcast is about. Finding out what your movie is, and this is a good one, by the way, a good podcast, what your movie is and how does it play against the rest of the world. Because if you want to be financially successful, if you want to be an inspiration, you need an audience. And with that audience, you have to have people that are willing to support you. And if you're attacking the people that's going to support you, you lose that audience. So
my audience is not the women who say I'm a 10. The women who pay us, none of them say they're a 10.
But here's the problem with that. That woman who you argue with has 5 friends that don't think like her. And if that one woman doesn't like you, she brings 10 people along.
Lost again.
She brings 10 people along that don't like you.
I hate arguing with him because I can never win. He always has the right answer. He is just...
I have a bigger mirror.
Always make...
You have to be... One thing that I found out about a lot of women, it's very difficult to give them another movie because they've been so hurt, so punished, so pushed into a corner. Their words are never really respected. They're never really given.
I was that person when I came to you. I was completely broken.
You still feel that way sometimes, not with me, but
no,
in general life.
But I have changed a lot. That's what I'm saying. I was the person who would have screamed, "I'm a 10." How dare you question that? Who are you to say that I'm not a 10? I would have jumped on you and made you feel so silly and an asshole and a chauvinist if you told me differently, or if you if you didn't agree with me. And now I I'm embarrassed to look at myself and my behavior then. I'm ashamed. It's embarrassing.
It's we have a lot of, you know, this movement of fake it till you make it. This movement of, you know, talk it into existence. You know, if you say it enough, if you put it out there into the world, you know, somebody will listen to you and give it to you.
Just imagine.
Just imagine, you know, and as long as you're imagining on the couch, and, you know, there's really no way to accomplish anything if you're not taking the actions to actually make it a reality.
Getting off the couch.
Yeah. And I heard a study here not too long ago that 1 out of 3 men at the age of 32 are still virgins. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And then something clicked. I look at all of the men writing you in your DMs and what they say. I'm like, you know, what movie do they have playing in their head? What is realistic? Do they really think that women want to see those things? Do they think
or
just
hear those things?
Yeah? Do they think by getting going to the gym and, you know, getting new clothes and, you know, getting a fancier car, that's going to get a short-term solution? But there has to be something,
That'll get you a one-night stand.
And it might get you many of them. And then people, the human being is a very adaptable species. So if, you know, a man's flaw of not being able to communicate with a bunch of, you know, with one woman or attract a woman, his flaw is turned into his mind as, I'm a stud, I'm a hero.
Hold on, watch it. Let me cut you off there, because we have another business that we do that involves men who have hard time getting women. So that's a sensitive topic. And do you wanna discuss it or leave it for another podcast? Maybe you wanna let people know what is it that we do.
I don't, you know, it goes into everything that we do. You know, a lot of people try to figure out what the hell is it that Chuck and Vilma do. And they're traveling the world, they're taking all these pretty pictures, and you get people like, hey, I want to take a picture. Hey, I want to take a picture. Hey, look at me. Here's my images. 1, 2, 3, 4, 500. Look at me. I'm a photographer. Look at. I'm like, what movie do they have playing in their head that they're showing me this and expecting results? What do men do? Hey, look at me. Here, look at my shirt. Look at. Everybody is playing the same movie in their head. Look at me. And, you know, it's a dangerous and slippery slope. Mm-hmm. And what we find is that, you know, these men at 32, I take a look at what they're doing. I see a movie that they have playing in their head. And it's really funny when you can get a mature man that cannot find women, and you sit down and you talk with them, and they give you every plan and as if they're a subject matter expert. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say names, but
don't pick on. Yeah.
No, I'm not picking on anybody. We were in Vegas. We were living for a few months in a house where there was 3 guys and 2 of us. None of these guys had girlfriends or wives. They were all single, and they couldn't get dates. None of them. And it was like, what? 20, 30, and 50 on average, right? Age group.
None of them.
Yeah.
But they all gave me advice on what women want.
Yep.
That vision is so strong that you can't take a look at that mirror or the outside world, and something could be happening right in front of your face, and you don't see it. And people come up to me. Okay, let me give you some props. I have a very beautiful partner. Very beautiful. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of men who would love to, you know, have a chance to be with someone like you. A lot of men look at our relationships. We've had men, I can never forget, in Miami, Florida, this, you know, very well-to-do rich man, chiseled, you know, comes strolling across the bar with a nice a scotch glass in there. You could tell it was expensive. And he walked across that room and his feet didn't even move. He was so smooth. He comes and he looks at me and almost puts his back to me to speak to you. I am so secure in this situation that I can actually turn my back and walk away. And I already know what you're going to tell this guy. You know, I already know. I'm that secure. And when the dust settles from his failure, he's like, well, she must be a prostitute. The thing that goes down, so far as, the different expletives that someone is going to utilize in a situation like that, they demonize what they can't have. Because the movie that he had playing in his head was his. Mm-hmm. And when you cannot distinguish reality from the movie that you have in your head, and your ability to try to make other people play a sub-role to that movie is very dangerous. When you learn how to play a sub-role in someone else's movie, and the movie that I like to play a sub-role in is reality, the world out there, because that's the one that is real. And being able to look at that mirror, and when I say mirror, I'm going to explain this again. It's the people looking on the inside, because it's the most difficult thing for us to do as human beings is to look at ourselves. Mm-hmm. Yes. And when we find that out, so I think that's long enough.
That was good. We've done about 30-40 minutes. Mm-hmm. 33 minutes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody ask any questions?
Everybody wishing Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas, guys. Absolutely, Merry Christmas to everyone. And we're going to today was our first day doing this. We're going to
No, we did a podcast 2 days ago. We had such a horrible argument.
A disaster.
So we didn't finish it, and today it's a recovery day.
Let me tell you what.
Okay.
Seriously,
do you need to?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Watch.
We're going to end up being the same.
I can cut it. No, we're not. Here's the deal. I get very frustrated because I'm thinking about lights. I'm thinking about background. I'm thinking about what goes in the background. I'm thinking about sound. If I have everything synced up, we don't have anyone else. So I get frustrated. So every little peep, I'm ready. I put everything together in my head. I'm ready to start. And Vilma's over there, adjusting her cell phone. I said, wait a minute, Chuck, I'll be right back. It's normally not a problem.
I waited all day. We were going to do a podcast in the morning. We ended up doing it at 7 p.m.
And so at 7 p.m., we both were pretty miserable.
Tired.
We were hungry. And boy, I read the riot act. I was a liar. I was just crazy. So from this point on, we're going to do everything before 12 p.m. And before we get angry and the day comes. So thank you guys. Merry Christmas. Give everybody hugs. Please reach out to us. We're going to try to start doing these more often, and with your feedback and your help, give us a good time when you think is a good time to do a live podcast. We're going to change a few things. We're going to change our background. We're going to put our telephone number up there. We're going to have the ability for people to call in and ask questions if someone has a topic that they would like to discuss
about anything.
It could be race, religion. It could be
sex, boyfriends,
one-legged people, five-legged people. It doesn't matter, I'm just not very good at animals.